Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, let's get real about this solar eclipse. Shalom, all. I'm Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to our Transformational Tarot Special Edition for the solar eclipse. This, of course, is part of my Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life series. And I got to tell you guys, fire signs, it's going to be intense for you, but this can also be really magical. And we're going to get into this. I've got a really great spread to do so that we can kind of hone in very specifically on what this solar eclipse means for you and how you can really make it work for you. I'm going to be pulling tarot cards from the Glimmer Walker Tarot. It's a great deck. I feel like it's going to give us lots of information. So without further ado, let's get to it and see what we got going on. So just a couple of things about this solar eclipse energy. The solar eclipse is happening on September 7th. And it is in the sign of Virgo, which means that a lot of the issues that we're going to be dealing with are connected to structure, organization, the day-to-day, your scheduling of the day-to-day. You're going to be running into issues of perfectionism. And yes, if you are not typically a perfectionist, there's always one area of your life where you feel like you're on that path of mastery. This is going to be the area that gets targeted. And when we are talking about the solar eclipse, it is the externalization of what you released internally during the lunar eclipse, which was 2 weeks ago. So whatever work you've done, now it's about, putting it into practice. This is about really grounding it in, centering yourself, and getting very clear on, I've done the reset. Now, what is the plan? How do I enact that plan? So we are going to start off with, what is it that you are releasing from your external world that is no longer serving you or in alignment with where you're going and growing? This is going to be important. Yeah, Three of Shadows. So Three of Shadows in this deck is Cups. I feel like there's been this idea that you can't trust anyone, you can't rely on anyone, that you've wanted to make connection with a lot of people and have just been finding, or with your work, with your passion, with your soul purpose, just with yourself in general. And you've been feeling as though, nothing seems to be sticking. Nothing seems to be working. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust the camera here so that we get a better picture. And as a result of that, I'm feeling like for you guys, in the work that you did in that lunar eclipse energy over the last couple of weeks, there's been a realization of what you've been feeling you've been lacking in your life. And I feel like this Three of Shadow, it really does feel like you're wanting more connection. You're wanting more true, honest connection. And you're going to be able to have that. So what is being released, I feel here, is like the opposite to that. I don't read reversals because I read intuitively. So intuitively, what I'm getting here is these jellyfish are rising to the space and the place of these people who are celebrating, playing. They're in ritual, they're in routine, they're recognizing that life has a serious quality to it, but they don't have to take life so seriously. And they're rising from the depths in order to be able to say, yeah, I'm ready to join the party. I'm ready to bring more of that joy and light and experience into my life. And I feel like this is very much in alignment with where you're going and growing, because you are getting ready to step into a window of time for yourself, especially this, like the 2 weeks. The solar eclipse is peaking in this 2-week season, but then you are going to start to really feel the effects of it over the next 6 months. So what it's doing is it's aligning you to that vision of joy that you're working on, that vision of hope, that vision of excitement and enthusiasm. And this is a great news for you fire signs. For those of you who have felt a little passionless or have felt a little numb, you're going to start to awaken. This is definitely going to be a bit of a phoenix rising energy that you're aligning with. But in order to align with that, we have to make sure that we are, I want to say, removing ourselves from the shadow energy. You've done the work, you've been in there. And even if you haven't fully completed it, there'll be time for that. It's still going to be working throughout. You need a little bit of the light. You need a little bit of the joy. So I think that's actually really beautiful. I like to say, we'll take that. We'll take that. Even if it's just a bit of a temporary break, it's still worthwhile. What can you benefit greatly from during this solar eclipse? So basically, what does it have for you? What is it going to do for you? Four of Thunder, interesting. So Four of Swords, it's going to bring about that rest, rest from the shadow work, rest from that, I want to say, that scorpionic deep dive, rest from feeling like you're a leaf blowing in the wind of the world. It's going to bring about some, I want to say, the tearing down of some structures individually, like individual structures that you've got with individual people, relationships. Not saying that it's going to tear down relationships as much as it's going to tear down structures around those relationships and shift up those structures. So I feel like that connection that you're seeking is going to come through this rest, peace, relaxation, taking things a bit easy from the mental perspective and stepping a little more into the heart space. Again, a little more joy, a little more excitement, a little more connection to source energy, connection to your passions. But you can only do that by taking a break from the shadow. And that's what the lightning strikes, the swords, are bringing to you here. Is they're cutting through the darkness. They're cutting through that shadow work and saying, let's shed a little light on the subject, because that's really what's the most important thing here. What wants to be birthed on your behalf during the solar eclipse? This is important too, because again, it's a co-creative process and Spirit is working with you, working on your behalf. Interesting. Knight of Fruit. So this is, in this deck, it's Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. So what can you benefit greatly from? The fruits of life, enjoying the fruits of your labor. Knight of Pentacles, it's interesting. Everything for you guys is about slow down and receive. Knight of Pentacles typically is the knight that takes his time. He's a little slow and steady. He's not the one that you want to call on when you need something instantly. He's the one you want to call on for that long-term project, for that car ride that you've got to take, where you guys can sit and sort of meander a little bit, stop a little bit along the way and check some things out. He's the companionable knight. Yes, he will fight for you. When push comes to shove, he's there for you. He's loyal. He's just I want to say, more like the tortoise energy than the hare. And I feel like when we're talking about what can you benefit greatly from, it's externalizing when we're externalizing the internal work, it's externalizing that rest, that break, that I can relax and breathe a little bit. It doesn't always have to be about my faults, or it doesn't always have to be about the challenges of life. Life is challenging. Life brings about a lot of, dare I say, opportunity to really go within, figure a lot of different things out, to learn through growth. And sometimes that growth can be uncomfortable. And so I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is saying, yeah, life has been a bit challenging. It's been difficult, to say the least. I'm here to kind of hold your hand, walk you through the process, and let's go do something fun. Let's do something that gets our minds off of that, because what's happening is, on an internal level, you're still integrating. It's happening. The ball is rolling. So, you don't have to continue to do the work. The work is doing it for you. Like it's doing its thing. It's working on your behalf. Now you can start to integrate in external ways. You can start to come out of the shadow, step into the light and say, okay, let me get to know this new version of myself. How do I want to play? I feel like that's really, really important. Okay. What wants to be birthed on my behalf during this solar eclipse? So this is like the universe's gift. You know, what's kind of birthing within you? Ooh, the Knight of Wands. So a new quest. And I talked to you guys about, you know, maybe feeling a bit removed from your passions, or, you know, feeling passionate about things or your purpose. This Knight of Light, the Knight of Wands, is coming through, really to let you know that this, when you're taking a little bit of time, this is what's going to come out of it. And I think it's so perfect when we're talking about a solar eclipse, because the sun goes behind the moon and we have no light. There's an absence of light. But yet, what's coming out the other side of it, when the light starts to peek around that that moon energy again, it's like, oh, I can breathe again. Oh, there's the path. That's what I'm going to chase. That's what I'm going to, you know, use my momentum and my motivation to work towards. This is the light at the end of the long dark tunnel. So I feel like there's going to be a renewed sense of passion, a renewed sense of purpose here, and that over the course of this next 6 months, there's going to be more and more revealed about your own goals and your own path. And I feel like it's almost like it's going to be a bit of a slow reveal, especially with all of this energy that's coming up. But you kind of want it to be a slow reveal. I feel like this isn't one of those things where you really want instant gratification. We all act as though that's what we want. You know, instant gratification would be great. I want something right now. Like I want it right now. But think about like when you're getting into a new romance, when you have the opportunity to get to know that other person, and you're going and doing different things and learning about each other through various different experiences, it prolongs the romance, right? That's what builds the romance, and that's what builds the intimacy in the relationship itself. I feel like this is what is required for you to build the intimacy in that soul purpose or that new passion that is coming up for you to be able to experience and explore. So while the Knight of Light energy is significantly faster than the Knight of Fruit energy, I feel like the Knight of Fruit energy is providing a bit of balance and saying, hey, let's take this a little bit, not take it slow in that, you know, it's a slow boil. It's more of a, let's enjoy this. You haven't been feeling this for a while. You haven't really been feeling the, you know, the, like you're locked in, like you're really connected. So let's enjoy the experience of becoming connected again, or bringing awareness to the fact that that connection is still there. And now you're getting to know it from a different perspective. Ooh, that feels so cool. Who am I becoming during this potent time? Who are you becoming? Interesting. We started with the 3 of Shadow as what we're releasing. Now we're becoming the 2 of Shadow. 2 of Cups. Partnering with yourself. Really blending that divine masculine and that divine energy together within yourself. This is definitely for you fire signs an opportunity for you to kind of birth yourself again. And, you know, we could say that about every sign when we're talking about the eclipse here. But you guys in particular, this is what you've been missing, is the connection. This is the soulmate card. This is, of any other card in the deck, including the Lover's card, this is the connection card. And that's what you're seeking, is more connection. That's what's going to come as a result of this. So don't be afraid to take your time. Don't be afraid to not have to burn hot, to go all in all the way. Be patient. Let the journey unfold organically for you, because I feel like that's going to be kind of the magic. That's what you're really seeking out at this time. Feels so good, guys. So good. What must I consider for receiving all I desire and deserve during this time? So what do you need to know in order to be able to receive? What's going to help you to receive in the best way? Oh my God. Two of light. You see a pattern here, the twos, the threes, the fours. You're definitely on a new path. You're definitely moving in the right direction. So the two of light is the direction, right? It's the two of wands. I feel like what I keep hearing for all of you fire signs is it's less about choosing the right path and more about just committing to the path that feels the most interesting to you, that brings out the most curiosity, and follow that path. It's not about right or wrong. And in fact, what I keep seeing is you'll discover that you'll take one path and the other path will be kind of like always there. You'll be able to kind of weave your way through both paths, or you'll be able to experience both paths kind of at the same time, simultaneously in that regard. So there's no right or wrong choice. It's just a matter of making the choice and committing to that decision. When you commit to that decision, you free up space in your mind and in your heart and in your soul to be able to concentrate fully on the new, fresh experience, rather than I'm burning energy in the background thinking about what about that other call that I made, or do I need to be worrying about it's like walking and chewing gum at the same time. Like, we can do those things because you don't have to be thinking about both things at the same time. There's a lot of autonomic energy here. And a lot of that is because of the work that you did during that lunar eclipse, the peak lunar eclipse season, right? It's all about that internal becoming externalized. You've done the work. So now externalize it. You don't have to think about it. Just do it. Take those steps and the road will reveal itself to you in that regard. That's how you're going to receive. If you're splitting your energy, if you're constantly in self-doubt or going back, you're just going to remain in this like half moon loop. And we don't want to be in half moon. This is the eclipse season. We want to be embracing the light again, right? Moving into the light. Wow. Also, that's two in a row, right? So I definitely feel that there is this energy of you blending the divine masculine and the divine feminine within you, blending the receiving with the giving, finding balance is what I'm feeling. That's in a big way. That's what this eclipse season is giving you. How are you to best serve your community and the collective during this time? We had this in the lunar eclipse reading as well. So externally, how are you best serving? Oh, wow. So 10 of Thunder, 10 of Swords. You are best serving your community and your personal collective at this time by walking away from the old, walking away from the past, shedding light on what was not good. And I hear for some of you, it might even be calling out certain relationships or certain people that you are in relationship with to say, I shine a light on the way that we were to point out what we can no longer be moving forward. And I feel like for some of you, there's going to be a little bit of confrontation here in regards to the word I'm hearing is respect, either commanding respect, explaining where certain actions were not respectful. And so moving forward, for us to continue to be in connection with one another, there needs to be a shift in how we treat each other or talk to each other, or how you communicate with me or how I communicate with you. I feel that there is a lot of, this isn't the communication suit necessarily. Well, actually, no, it is the communication suit, but I was thinking cups is the emotional communication. you can communicate this information in a way that is gentle and loving, but very boundaried, very much there is no going back. And so if you want to move forward with me as I would like to move forward with you, here are the stipulations. And there's no argument about it. There's no, yes, no, maybe so, crisscross applesauce. Nope, that's not how this works. This, here, and no further. This or bust. So a little bit of that extreme energy, but I feel like it's because it's healthy. It's what you need it to be in order for you to move forward. Now we're going to pull an anchor card for each of the signs, and we're going to start with Aries. And this anchor card is really about how you, Aries, can best harness the potential energy of this lunar cycle. Wow, 9 of Thunder. So I feel like for you, Aries, it's about recognizing where your triggers have been in full force, meeting them head on, and then really saying, I don't want to be in this space and place anymore. I don't need to allow anxiety to steer the ship. And what I love about this image here is that she's sitting on the edge, or just a little bit back from the edge of this cliff. And there are these beautiful flowers next to her. And yes, she looks like she's in despair. But I also feel like she's at the precipice because she's recognizing that she doesn't want to be doing this anymore. And so this isn't about her wanting to jump off the cliff. This is about her coming to the end of the line and for her to reestablish for herself her resolve. The anxiety that we can feel comes from the ego space. It comes from the fear of being out of control, the fear of not being enough or too much, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of judgment, the fear of retribution and punishment. Fear. And you guys have the opportunity here in this solar eclipse. Again, the lightning sheds a light on the darkness. It sheds a light on the shadow. You have the opportunity to allow this anxiety to have the light shed on it so that it can be exposed, and you can look it dead in the eyes and say, I don't want that anymore. I want this. And the lightning has shone a light on the fact that there are these beautiful flowers. There is new life here that has already started to bloom. And if you were to come over here, there would be a fresh start and a new beginning. You would be able to take these flowers and, replant them, for example, somewhere else. So there is a gift in all of this, but you got to be able to see it. And I feel like that's really important. Okay, Leos. How are you harnessing the potent energy of this solar eclipse? Wow, another 10. So new beginnings based on an already established foundation. For you, Leos, this is a time to really recognize where you've overcommitted yourself, where you have taken on too much. And this is a time to get real with yourselves, because the things that you've taken on that are too much, no one asked you to do it. Or no one forced you to do it. Maybe they asked you to do it, but you were the one who said yes. You were the one to take it on. So I feel that there's a level of responsibility here, like accountability, personal responsibility. Yes, I know I said yes to you about this and this. Things have changed and I need to back out, or I need to find a different approach or a different way to deal with this. Because right now I'm recognizing that I've overcommitted. I've got too much on my plate. And this is why, we talked about you kind of slowing down a little bit here, allowing things to unfold organically. This is the new way. This is the new reset, If you continue to do the other things to go backwards, you're negating everything that's coming up. You're resisting and working against the new platform that you are creating for yourself. So don't get in your own way. Remove things, remove commitments that don't directly align with the organic flow of what you are stepping into. That feels hugely important. Hugely important, guys. Okay. And Sagittarius, how are you guys going to be able to harness this really potent energy for the solar eclipse season? Page of Fruit. So it's interesting. You guys have gotten a lot of the fruit energy, which is our thoughts having manifested into the physical. And I feel like for you Sagittarians, it's really stepping into the experiment that life is. Being very curious, and I think I said that before, being very curious about this new structure, being very curious about organic. What does organic mean in my life? How do I not allow my fire to burn away the organic, and to burn away what has been established here? We've burned away the past, right? We've burned away what is no longer serving, but we have to know when that energy, when that fire needs to be contained, reined in. And I feel like that's what this page of fruit is coming in to share with you is, and we've got this little one with a little magnifying glass that's just checking out the beautiful light. This is I want to say the dandelion, and this little figure is going in and really examining the light for all that it is with that curiosity. What makes you glow? Why do you glow brighter in the center and then, the glow comes out? How does that all work? You want to get curious about the happenings, about the people, places, and things, the opportunities that are showing up in your life. And yes, you can be curious about why is this showing up in my life, but I want to say be curious about, as you're working with it, as you're in it, be curious about what you're learning, experiencing, about how it's working in your life. I often talk about the why, and quite frankly, it's always about the why. But in this case, I feel like it's a little bit more about the how. And it's because it's teaching you how to be in that organic flow and to consistently be in that organic flow for this next chapter of your life. Wow, that's fantastic, Sagittarius. I really like that for you guys. Okay, and our final card, how best can you focus all of this energy into your life at this time? 9 of light. Wow, we've had a lot of recurring numbers. That's just fascinating to me. So 9 of wands, restructuring your concept and idea of control. That's a big part of what this organic experience is all about. You've done the shadow work. Now externalize what you've learned. And I want to say it's letting go of control, but it's also understanding that there are certain aspects of the game of life that you don't need to control. There's no way to control them. The only thing that you can control is your response to what is being presented. So release the illusion of control and step more into this is the end of the way that I have been living up to this point. And the new path forward is to trust, to follow the light, and be curious about what that light brings. I know curious is Sagittarius's message, but I also feel that curious is an overall message for all of you fire signs. That came up earlier in the reading. So curiosity is the right approach. Wow. All right, guys. So that is our Transformational Tarot Special Edition for the solar eclipse happening on September 7th. Fire signs, sending you lots of love and lots of support as you go through this. Eclipse seasons can be really intense. There can be some sudden shocks, some major shifts. I want to say breathe through it all, trusting and knowing that it's all happening for you. And if I can be of service, you know where I'm at. All right, guys, until I see you for another episode of Transformational Tarot or Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture Divining the VIP Life.